Hi, welcome to the Stitch TV show. I'm Len.
And I'm Pam. We're happy you're joining us today. The Stitch is an online quilt talk show, the perfect soundtrack for your sewing room. You can join us for twice monthly talk shows, virtual stitch-ins, tutorial videos. We got all kinds of stuff, even sometimes a book club.
Every once in a while, a book club.
You can learn more at thestitchtvshow.com.
Our show today is brought to you by EnMart and QT Fabric, who are our friends. And you can learn more about them in the links
in the show notes. And in exciting news, well, we brought back the Tuffet. We were like, ooh, what do we want to have on
cute.
It is super cute.
Yeah.
And we keep petting the tassel.
I feel like this is like the ultimate pin cushion.
I would know.
Because it's huge. Like, it'd be like, this can hold all the pins.
Yeah, okay, but...
it can hold the big needles that you use to sew.
Tufting needles?
The tufting needles for the
But
tuffet.
would you, like me, say, like, well, I could only match my pink head pins to the beautiful pink fabric?
No, I would not do that. This is not a concern. No, but I was thinking of those big needles that you use to sew the eyes in of, like...
Yes, tufting needles.
That's
what they're called.
I understand, but... sewing the eyes in of stuffed animals or teddy bears or something. You have to have big, long needles. That's why I have them.
Or...
I've never tufted.
It is a very cute cockatiel tuffet.
It is.
Because it's a little small for cat.
But, okay, so these are QT Fabrics, and they're the Radiance...
I think it's the Radiance line from
the
Dan
Radiance line. And then this is a pretty exciting little thing.
So we have been working with EnMart for coming up on a year now, and we, in a very exciting debut, now have custom thread bundles. And you'll see more of these on future shows, but this one is the No Regrets bundle, and they helpfully spell-checked that for us. They're like, oh, you spelled it wrong. It should be No Regrets. And I'm like, no, that's a thing.
We really misspelled it on purpose.
So this, the colors in here, green, 2 shades of pink, a nice silvery gray, a purple, and a blue. I'm going to open it.
Oh, wow. I didn't do that yet. Are you sure you're going to open it?
Maybe I'm not going to open it. We're going to let it be a mystery. Trust me, there's thread. But this goes with the quilt pattern and the prefused applique kit that we've got for No Regrets. And then we like the mini kings because that's the size that we use when we're quilting.
Right. These are nice.
And this is my quilting bundle. So it has, a blue, a green, a purple, blue.
Right.
There's 2 blues.
And there's some gray in there, which is
a nice basic gray, a nice basic cream, because those are my go-to colors. You'll see other colors coming up on future shows, but you can get the thread kit bundles on our website at shop.thestitchtvshow.com.
Right. So those are very cool, and I love what they just, when they came in the mail yesterday, I was like, oh, we are professionals.
They're great graphics department at EnMart. Shout out to Tori.
Yes, exactly. So,
okay.
Today we're going to be talking about quilted heart phenomenon and the differences between coverlets, quilts, comforters, afghans, duvets,
and blankets. All the things that might cover you in made of fabric.
And we're joined today by our newest quilt pattern, Dapper. The fancy pattern. Oh, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Go back.
Yeah, it's very complicated.
Yeah. I'm like, what?
It's like this fancy, fun, fat 8th quilt.
Oh, my gosh, alliteration at me. Fancy Fun Fat 8th Quilt is available at shop.thestitchtvshow.com.
And why did we name it Dapper?
Because you wouldn't let me name it Bow Tie Blocks.
Because that was not as cool.
No, we named it Dapper because we were watching, I was watching when I was making it, the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou movie.
Yes.
And it was like Dapper Dan, which is the hair product that he uses in I'm a Dapper Dan man.
Yeah.
So one of the quilt blocks we named Dapper, and the other one we named Pomade, which, So it's all little cute bow ties. And a friend of ours sent us this line of fabric and said, hey, can you make a quilt with this? And I just saw it and went, bow ties. Like, it was one of those moments where you're like, this line reads bow ties to me, so it became Dapper.
Yeah.
So,
but works with fat 8ths, or if you have fat quarters and you get some left over.
Right, exactly. And it's quick to put together, believe me.
Yes. So
because we are in it needs to be quick to put together.
Yes.
Moment in time.
Yeah, we've been as this episode drops,
We are at market.
we are at festival. Market has already happened when this
Oh,
drops.
okay. We are at festival,
Yes.
which means we will have these for sale. Come by our booth.
And this pattern.
And this pattern. Okay.
We will have things made out of QT fabric. We will have many things.
Yes, exactly.
Booth 941, if you are like in Houston and watching this.
If you're in Houston and watching this, stop. Go to the show.
No, this drops at like 8 a.m. and the show doesn't open till 10. So
Oh, okay. Then come by our booth,
Like,
941,
they got
and
time.
say hi.
there you go.
There you go.
All right.
So,
Let's talk about quilted hearts.
okay. One, I honestly want to say I had never heard of this till you sent me the link the other day.
Well,
But it's a thing.
I knew it as a thing. So in our guild, we used to do greeting cards for when it's like the sunshine committee, like who needs a little bit of sunshine? Like, oh, someone's
Well,
not
I knew
feeling
that
well.
part of it, but I didn't know this.
Well, but the card thing kind of morphed into make a quilted heart. And many people have like scrap fabric and all that. And you can take quilted samples. You can just take fabric hearts. And you basically are making, a heart of any shape. And it doesn't have to be like bound. It could be raw edge. It could be paint. There's a lot of different designs. You'll see on the camera a little collage of some of those. And the point of the hearts in our guild was to like kind of share the love. Hey, we've made a thing for you. It's a little extra more investment in,
Right.
caring than just a card. But the quilted heart phenomenon, expanded. I mean, it's not just our guild, but people leave these for other people to find.
Right.
And it reminds me, in our area, there's been like a painted rock thing in public parks. I don't know if you've ever seen any of those.
Did you look at the map so Quilted Hearts has a website, and I went and
I found a quiltedheart.com.
Right. And I went and looked at the map. They have been found. Quilted Hearts have been found and reported.
Mm-hmm.
And in Woodstock and Ackworth and Cartersville and Canton and Marietta, which is all part of the North Georgia area that we are part of. And all of those had been reported. And I was like, oh, we could have found one. And the website, right? And I want to do that. But the website also said only probably about 15 to 20% are reported.
Yeah.
That are not, that are found. So, but I did see that there were some very specific rules of how not to do this.
Okay.
Did you look that part up?
Yes, but why don't you recap for us?
Okay, so the first thing is you can't hand it to people. That doesn't count.
No,
it's got to be found.
Yeah.
Right? It's got to be found. It can't be like a treasure hunt where you've hidden it someplace and somebody has to follow it.
It's not a geocaching thing.
Right, exactly.
Which is...
That's another thing.
That's like a 90s thing, I think.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe
People
early
are still,
2000s.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's still a thing.
Yeah, it's still
but
a
that
thing.
it's a little older than this phenomenon.
Right. It can't be on personal property.
Okay.
You can't hide them on personal property.
Well, yeah, that's trespassing.
It is.
Technically.
Yes. No retail stores or public bathrooms.
Ooh, yeah, don't pick up anything you find in a public bathroom.
Like that. That would be, yeah.
Gross.
Like that was easy for me to go, yeah, I wouldn't ever think of putting that there.
No.
Not at the airport.
Yeah, no unattended items at airports.
And this is the one that I thought, ooh, I forgot. You cannot leave it at a national park. It's against the law.
Because it's considered littering?
It's considered abandoned items. So, and actually someone left, the reason they know this is someone left a quilted heart at a national park. So the national park contacted, I found a quilted heart and said, make sure not to. So there was a official letter from the government. So don't leave them at a national park because it's an abandoned item. And they actually listed the statute that it was.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What about state and local, or does that just vary by ordinance?
I'm assuming that probably varies by ordinance, but they, the national park was, and I think this would be true with state and local too. The national park said, let's keep the wild things wild and not.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, you don't want
something eating it.
Squirrel finding it, and I mean, there's enough that I don't know. I think we should leave the national parks, state parks,
Yes.
kind of to the wildness that they are. So anyway, those were kind of some rules. So, but you can make, and I thought the creativity part of it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you make? I haven't made any yet.
So
what's your plan? What's our plan?
We
need a plan.
So my plan would be, as I am cutting things for other quilts and I have scraps and leftovers.
Okay. Yeah, I like this plan.
And I'm guessing the size is about like the size of the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need like a big giant like Charlie Brown Valentine quilted heart.
You could. It would not be hard to, it would be harder to hide than find.
Yes. So I think, you save a scrap that's about, as big as your hand. And when it comes to piecing the front, are you putting a message on it or are you just leaving it fabric? Are there buttons,
Can't. That's part of their rules. That needs to have a tag on it. And they give you where you can print out these tags. And you can't put your name on it. You can't put scripture, message, anything. It just needs, for it to be posted on their website, it needs to say, I need a home. And then I found a quilted heart. And then it gives their website, which is www.ifaqh.com. And then hashtag IFQH. AQH. See, yes. I'm reading this backwards. IFAQH.com and IFAQH.
Should
hashtag.
You put it in a bag? Because I just think, well, what if it rains? That's what I think about most things. What if it rains? Like right now, it's raining outside.
It is raining outside. But you can print this on cardstock.
True.
Cut them up and then put them on there. I don't think a plastic bag is a bad idea. Like, I think that's probably...
And then if you make one to leave, just reuse the
bag.
But
where are you going? Okay, so the very first place, I was like, where could I leave these?
Library.
That's the very first place I thought, too, is a library. Do you think you need to get permission from the librarian, or it's just...
I don't know. If you're friendly with the librarian, yeah, it's not going to hurt to ask. But, if they are...
I just don't want to come in with a big basket and go...
No, it's not confetti heart. But they are also trying to conduct county or, city business. And
right, exactly.
You can't be interfering with someone's operations. Like, you just don't make the janitor mad.
Yes.
And don't put it in the bathroom there.
Yeah. Yeah. They said don't put it in the bathroom where somebody might throw it away. And I was like, well, that's true, but
also gross.
But gross.
Yeah. So, maybe that would be something the library would endorse because I know...
Are they into the painted rock thing?
I think so. Well, so the ones near us have done classes like how to make painted rocks. And the deal is you paint one side of the rock and you put it, kind of face down out in nature. And then, because families and kids and all that, walk around at parks and kids love picking up rocks. I don't know.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. And
totally.
And it's painted and it's fun. And, and then there's, we've seen that quite a bit around in our area. So the library, for us, has hosted a How to Paint Rocks. So they might think it's fun of like, hey, could I put this in the stacks?
Well, that's something, too. You could probably contact your library and say how to make hearts.
And just have
and then just get people into, because you could do this hand sewing as easily as with sewing machines.
Because it's small. So
it's small, and it's like, it would take as much time to make as a yo-yo.
Yeah.
A cloth quilted yo-yo, not like a real...
Not a thing that I can't do, just hit myself in the face all the time?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm more likely to hit myself in the foot. I'm not talented enough to get it at my face.
I think
twirl it around.
That's not good.
So, but where else besides the library?
That's a good question.
Can't be a business. like a public right-of-way, like near a sidewalk. But
I think you could go to our little downtown area or your little downtown area and... maybe put it. I saw a picture of people putting it on a fire hydrant.
Yep.
Oh, and you see a lot of them where they put the loop.
Oh, a loop?
So it can kind of hang on something or whatever. But it's not supposed to have any message except for that tag kind of thing, which is, you are loved. God. I found a heart kind of deal.
Yeah. I like the idea of the tag. You know, as I'm planning out scraps, I mean, you could go with traditional piecing, or you could just do a single piece of fabric, front and back, and you could embellish it with handwork. You could do some embroidery. You could
Put
add
beads
buttons
on
to
it. You can always put buttons on it. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of buttons.
A lot of beads. So I think that this is a great kind of, and it could be a great like little sewing project you could teach others that are.
Well, I think it would be good for kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're all into discovery and adventure. And as you go on walks as a family, perfect.
And I really do like the idea of going to a school or after-school project or a community center or library that says, hey, we want to have this quilted heart kind of thing, and everybody participate, and then have them go out and hide them and look for it. You know, I think that that's kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure, and I don't know for sure, but I am like 99% sure there are a number of die cut or dies to just, if you're going to do a group activity at a school and you don't want to hand sharp scissors to little kids.
Absolutely.
Like show up with
I promise you there's some die
Pretty
cuts.
sure those exist.
Those exist. Yes. They have to exist. I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to give you names of
No. But you could
companies, but
like my default, take the piece of fabric, like I would start with a 5-inch square, fold it in
fold it,
half,
cut
and
the
just
little-
cut it like you're doing paper hearts.
yes, how many times? I mean, we did, and that would be something easy for a kid to do too.
My hearts come out with a little bit of a pointy hump at the top, and then I have to like trim them down. And then it's like giving yourself bangs. It's like, I'll just even that up. Oh, no.
Yesterday, she was cutting my bangs, and I was like, okay, a little more. Okay, a little more.
Just stop it. It's too much.
Okay, a little more. I think she recut them like 4 times. Thank you, Cheryl. We love you.
So,
for my bangs. And for other reasons, because she's a nice person.
So how many quilted hearts, if 15% are reported, how many do you think you need to, leave before you
get one?
You get one.
I don't know. Would you start with like 10, 20?
I wouldn't want to do more than 10, just because if you've now gone out and spread 20 and no one seems to find them and report them, it might be a little disheartening. Or is it that the point is to leave the heart and not to see it, not to find your fame in anonymous quilted heart postings?
If you are depending on your fame being in anonymous quilted heart postings,
this may not be the effort for you.
This may not work. Yeah. Because it is such an anonymous thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's a good idea. Let's do it. And there's a lot of stuff going on in our local, downtown areas that I think people would find them.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe, I know you and I are planning some Thanksgiving shenanigans.
Oh. We do have some shenanigans planned.
Right. That include pie.
And casseroles.
So, let's think about doing that.
That'd be a fun thing to do on a virtual stitch-in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So you'll see us make some quilted hearts.
Yes.
Later.
Not
right now.
No, because we're at Festival right now, booth 941. Please come by and say hi.
Yes. So what else are we doing right now?
Now we're going to take a closer look at Dapper, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and now we're going to talk about
blankets.
You're the one who put this on there.
I did.
Decoding blankets, coverlets, quilts, comforters, afghans, duvets, and bedspreads. What are these? I have a graphic.
Let's put the graphic where the people can see it, please.
Okay. All right. I found this on a fancy website.
Ooh.
That sells
fancystuff.com.
bedding.
Just kidding. Don't go to that URL. It might be something naughty.
We don't know what that is. She's making this up. Okay. That had bedding on it.
Yes.
And by the way, I do want to point out to you the number of pillows that are required for a bed.
Many. How many are on there?
The Euro sham, the standard case, the boudoir sham, the neck sham. So there's 5.
There's no actual sleeping pillows on there? Or is that the standard?
I think that's the standard case. But each, like the Euro sham has 2, and the standard sham has 2, and the standard case has 2, and the boudoir sham has only 1, and the neck roll has only 1. So there's a lot of pillow. I just wanted to point out the pillows that I've been made fun
Look
of.
at all the things getting in the way of you actually just sleeping in the bed, which is its intention.
I have lots of pillows.
That's just something else for my cats to throw up on. That's why I don't have that many pillows.
I have all the pillows. Anyway,
Okay.
so
all of these different types of things that go on your bed to keep you warm.
right,
Ideally, while you sleep, or maybe just to look cool.
right.
And a quilt, let's start there,
Well,
because that's the target market.
it is. Y'all want to talk about quilts? So when I looked up all this stuff, when I read the topic, it said, "What's the difference between coverlet, quilt, and comforter?" I didn't realize there were
This is
all
a whole new world.
It's a whole new world. But when I was looking up this diagram of how this all is supposed to go together, I will say to you that in their fancy website about how to make a correct bed, they said the term blanket is used for coverlet, quilt, and I was like, well, that ticks me off.
But it's fine.
No, I
Blanket as a category as opposed to an item.
Right. But I will say it does grate on my nerve a tiny bit, more than a tiny bit, when people say, "Oh, look at that nice blanket," and refer to a quilt that I've made. I'm like, it doesn't make me happy.
So in the spirit of education, a quilt is traditionally 3 layers
Right.
joined together with stitching through all 3 layers.
Right. Right.
Quilt. Now, there's exceptions. There's like cathedral window and
The types of
yo-yos
quilts and yeah.
That's a classic quilt definition.
It's a classic quilt definition.
So then what's a coverlet?
A coverlet is thin, and actually I have one over there. If production staff could go get me the plaid. Sorry,
And
I
it's
meant
typically
to sit it close to me.
Lightweight, single-sided.
Right.
No, that's not a coverlet.
Yes, it actually is. So the coverlets, a lot of times historically, are woven.
Yes.
And they would be woven plaid. So this is like an example. This is woven from Berea College in Kentucky. They have a really neat student program where part of their students are a part of a service type of education, where they have to work in their
Field.
not field, but in the Berea community
okay.
that would help support their education. And so Berea is very much supportive of the arts. So one of the things that they do is they have this whole weaving industry. So this was woven at Berea College. And my in-laws bought it for us, and it's one of actually my favorite blankets. But
It's a coverlet.
it's a coverlet, technically, but it's a woven.
Yes.
Coverlets have historically been woven, so this would be an example of a coverlet. But isn't it? And it's so warm and cozy, kind of thing.
Now, I've also read that coverlets could be quilted if they are made of woven fabric.
Right? Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, but here's the other thing about coverlets that I read is that they cover over the mattress and hang just at the top of, or cover just a little bit of the box springs. So they do not go to the floor. What goes to the floor is a bedspread, which is out of vogue right now.
Yes.
So you do not see bedspreads being used right now.
And bedspreads are wool, polyester. I've seen there's a lot of chenille out there.
Right.
They could also be cotton. This is kind of what I grew up with, was bedspreads.
Oh, yeah, because they were big
like
when...
the gathered
yeah.
bed skirt
Yes.
And particularly very frilly pink ones, and featured heavily in the J.C. Penney catalog wish book.
Right.
With the frilly canopy that I never got. And that's okay, Mom, because I really wanted that Millennium Falcon more. Which I eventually bought myself.
Now, comforters are more
Thick. They are thick.
thick
They are fluffy, like they're stuffed with poly batting.
or down.
Yes.
And we used to have a down comforter for a king size bed until I went away and was traveling for my job, and my husband allowed the Saluki to sleep in bed with him while I was gone. And
He says no.
This is a true story. And
True story.
I'm sure the dog forced its way up.
well, true. The dog probably forced its way up. But anyway, the dog is on the bed, and they're both, like, I think she was laying on top of the comforter, and he was underneath it. And the dog needed to have her toenails clipped. And so he woke up the next morning in down. They were both covered, and she was a black dog, so it was very funny.
Nice.
I wasn't there, but I did see pictures of it afterwards. It was quite funny.
Yeah. Now, I like
but you can put duvets over comforters.
Let's not go away from comforters yet.
I wasn't.
The comforters that I have had have mostly been polyester, I think because someone in my family has a feather allergy.
Oh, well then, yeah.
And that is what I had mostly in my 20s before I learned to quilt. Just because I liked the fluffiness
warmth
of it. Yeah. It was very comforting to me because it was a change from the bedspread that I had grown up with.
Yeah.
This is my grown-up blanket or whatever we're calling it. And duvets are interesting.
Duvets are like pillowcases for comforters.
That's the duvet cover. But
Yeah.
the duvet themselves is typically a little thicker than a comforter, but you could put a duvet cover on a comforter.
Yeah.
And this is where...
Those are big, like in the 90s and
Yes.
early 2000s.
There's so
the
many
duvet
videos
covers.
about how to put your duvet cover on without killing yourself.
Yeah, because you have to get them tucked in there.
And typically you need to secure the corner of the duvet to the corner of the cover so it doesn't like ooch up and like suddenly now you just have this big clump of very thick cover and, you know, some flappy bits. But
right.
if you are into that kind of thicker bed covering, I have technically made a quilt, just the top, and then lined that with a back and then use that as the cover of the duvet and have like tucked the duvet kind of inside the quilt. And so if you like the look of a quilt but love the feel of a duvet, that is an option.
Well, I think coverlets, I'm going to go back to coverlets.
Okay.
Coverlets have been popular throughout history from the standpoint of in the South, they would make quilts without batting and they would call it a coverlet. And it was for the summer.
Mm-hmm. It's a summer weight quilt.
Yeah, it's a summer weight
Or
quilt.
sometimes flannel in the middle instead of batting, which is still 3 layers.
Yeah.
But nothing in between there.
Nothing in between or like, yeah. Of course, you honestly, old quilts, you can see woven blankets in the middle. You can see all kinds of stuff in the middle. We still do that. People ask all the time, can I put the fleece in the middle of a quilt? Yeah.
I've used
you
fleece
can.
as the backing of a quilt with no batting.
Right. Yeah, you can.
And then if you cut it the right way, you can roll that fleece up and have that be the binding.
There you go.
I wouldn't do it for something that's got, you know, a lot of design
Piecing.
interest and piecing on the border.
Yeah.
I would, if it's like a solid border, that you'll be more successful with that look.
Right.
Now, Afghan, which is also on the list, is typically knit or crocheted.
Have you ever crocheted an Afghan?
Absolutely.
Me too.
Yep.
I haven't knitted one, but I've crocheted
It was
one.
my pre-quilting life. I still have some of the books. I used to teach crochet.
I think I was quilting when I was doing it, but I was traveling, and it was easier to take Afghan hooks on an airplane at the time. It was right after 9/11.
Yeah.
It was easier to take Afghan hooks and yarn instead of needles and scissors and thread cutters and that kind of stuff on a plane right after that. So I did crochet a lot of Afghans on planes.
Yeah.
I was that lady.
I never really took the whole
Listening.
Afghan with me. And I didn't really get into the granny square look, but I did, crochet is a little more complicated than knitting in that knitting there's, a knit and a purl stitch. In a crochet, there's like 11 frillion different ones. and I got into using like the Q size hook. And then you do like 2 strands of yarn at the same time. And then that goes super quick. You can like get it really big. And you get some interesting look if you use a variegated yarn paired with a solid. And
Right.
Had done a lot of that.
But I just, there was like whatever pattern I did, and I just repeat. I got to where I could do it without even, I could be talking to you and looking and do it. It was one of those, it was very, I don't know, anytime you have something that's really repetitive, there's a calmness about just keeping doing that over and over again. So I kind of like that.
Did a lot of shell stitch.
All right, so Afghans, that's what I did a lot of, the shell stitch. So I think my sister has my biggest one that I did for her. I haven't seen it in a while, so she probably got it tucked away somewhere. It's one of those things, you spend a lot of time doing that, and then if it doesn't match their living room, they don't always put it out.
That's fine.
So here's the other thing on here I was going to point out. They also have a throw that you would put on a bed.
And a throw is any of the above, but just smaller?
I would say yes. I would say it's more like a woven type of...
I have a lovely chenille throw.
Yes. I did tell Josie used it, and then it's not as lovely.
And I have a velvet throw, too.
Oh, wow.
It's very posh.
That sounds posh.
I can't leave it out, or the cats just... that's all they want to sit on.
Yeah.
It's a pain to clean, because velvet is difficult. You can't just throw it in the washing machine.
But here's the other thing that they talk about, and it's called a bed scarf.
Is that similar to a bed runner?
Yes. And I think we should embrace these and make lots of them.
Because they are smaller and easier to finish than king-size quilts.
Absolutely. And I think you could have lots of cool messages on them. Like, you could change it for the holidays, or you could change it for, a birthday bed skirt, or...
And you could have it match your fancy pillowcases that you swap out
exactly. And, for the kids, Merry Christmas, and then have the Christmas pillowcases. I don't know. I really think we need to embrace the bed skirt. Let's make the bed skirt...
No, bed scarf.
Bed scarf trendy. Let's make it trendy. We can do this. You and I. Let's do it.
This before or after Quilted Hearts? Asking for a friend.
After.
It's got a lot going on.
We're only making 10 quilted hearts each. We got that down.
All right.
That's like one weekend.
All right.
That's really, honestly, between you and I, 3 hours. How long do you think it'd take you to make 10 quilted hearts?
I have no idea.
We could do it in 3 hours.
Well, it depends. Like, yeah, I could crank some out, but do I want to add a little extra something to them? Do I want to,
All right. We got to show people we love them.
Well, yeah, true. You don't want to just phone it in on your friend and you're like, oh, I love you, but not enough to like
think about
put effort into this,
I don't know. I think we need bed scarves to be trendy.
I do have a bed runner pattern.
I think we should write some.
It's my face.
I do.
Did you put that on a spreadsheet somewhere? Because it doesn't exist until it's on a spreadsheet.
I know. She kept telling me that. And then I kept asking her, what's this? What's this? And she kept saying it's in the spreadsheet. I kept looking at the spreadsheet.
She looked at the wrong spreadsheet.
But you have to admit where I was looking was logic.
Yeah, that's legit. But I don't update that one. That's your job.
I know. I was like, it's not in here. Anyway. And then she had the filter on. I didn't realize there was a filter. Dang it. Gets you every time. Anyway.
Keep on your toes.
All right. So what are we more educated?
So blanket is a category or blanket is an item?
Blanket's a category according to this fancy website. But it better not be referred to as my item when it's a quilt. I'm just saying it may...
well, that's how you know they're blanket worthy but not quilt worthy.
Oh, good point. So it's like a test.
It is.
And so if you give it to someone and they go, thank you for the blanket, and you go, nope.
Well, so
I don't know that that's going to work.
what I would suggest is you drop some hints to the people in your life to see if how do they talk about your craft?
Right.
Versus, and if they are like, oh, are you still doing those blankets? You know,
They're not getting
or they
it.
say like, oh, are you going to go knit a quilt? No. So here's what you do. We got a tutorial video that we'll link to, and it's something I had done last year because we, in my office, do like a Secret Santa or a gift swap around the end of the year. And there are some very lovely plush, like minky type blankets, like very just
Right, yeah.
lovely. You buy that when it's on sale because these people are not quilt worthy. And you can personalize it with the addition of fabric from your stash. And so I've done it, my daughter really loves those very plush blankets. And so I applique like a little cat face on there for her.
Oh, cool
And
idea.
so it's personalized. Like it's not exactly from the store, but the effort to create that and gift that to someone is much less than making them a full-on quilt.
Next
But they're
step
not
up.
going to necessarily, So
Right.
it's more than, hey, I got you the $20 blanket on sale. But like, oh, I saw this. I knew you'd love the feel of it. And I added some of your favorite like stuff. Whatever. Like, oh, they love otters. You put otter fabric. Even if it's just like a strip across it.
do love otters.
See?
They're awesome. And I got some good otter fabric, too.
Yep. So that would be my suggestion. If someone, if you want to give them something handmade and it's bigger than a quilted heart, but not quite a quilt, there's your in between.
I think that's a great idea. Oh, I think the other thing we need to ask about this whole quilt thing was it was very important on the fancy website of where these things fell on the side of the bed.
The height and
The
from
height,
floor.
yeah, from the floor. So bedspreads are out of vogue of going all the way to the floor, so that's it. But where do you think, because I think people with quilts are like it needs to hang. Where are you on where it needs to hang?
The quilt should hang 2 inches below the bottom of the mattress, just over the top of the box spring.
I want the quilt to hang, right, I disagree with her. I want the quilt to hang all the way to the rail of the side of my bed frame.
Here's where we were in violent agreement because the distance that I gave matches what you just described for my particular bed frame.
Right.
Boom.
But I think it would depend on I don't think you can give a
No.
specific height because some have really stupid high mattresses that you need steps to get in, aka hours.
But that's how you keep the dog from getting up there when you have a short dog.
No, Salukis will jump on that. Last night, seriously, we're laying in bed. Josie's on the other side from mine. And I'm like, her bed's on my side. I said, Josie, get in your bed. So she jumps up, walks over the bed, and gets in her bed. I'm like, really? You couldn't walk over? I mean, she could have just walked. It doesn't work that way. I don't know.
No. So it's your personal taste and it's
I
your
think so,
bed. And if
too.
you are sleeping on a futon, that is very different. And you don't even know what we're talking about with box springs. So, it's to your preference.
You've never heard of a box spring.
You may or may not.
Do those mattresses that you order online, they don't require box springs, do they?
They need something.
They need a base.
They
but
do
it
need a
just-
base. And then these are all like memory foam, I think.
Yeah.
Just
They
they
come
kind of-
rolled up.
Yes.
I don't have one.
I don't either.
And you lay them out.
Yes.
And
Because
that's
a
the
traditional
commercial.
bed frame is like 2 rails of metal with like 2 cross braces.
I think those would you would have not a good time.
No, it's like putting an air mattress on one of those. So,
Yeah, it'd be bad. They need a base, a solid
Yes.
base. Okay.
so there you go.
I don't know that we learned anything.
So what is the appropriate response when someone calls your quilt a blanket?
Screaming, run out of the room.
No, terror is not the right answer, Lynn. But you can leave a comment on our blog or the YouTube episode or in our Facebook group, What's Up Stitches, and let us know what you do. And that's all we have for this episode. Today's show is made possible by EnMart and QT Fabrics. Find links to these wonderful companies in the show notes for today's episode.
We'd like to thank 77 Peaches and Big Think Productions for helping produce this stitch. If you've enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on notifications on YouTube.
So our next virtual stitch is Friday, November 8th at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern, broadcast live on our YouTube channel. And our book club is temporarily interrupted due to travel, but stay tuned for some special broadcasts on that fourth Friday slot.
All those details and more can be found on our website, thestitchtvshow.com, along with links to purchase fan gear, quilt patterns, video classes, and you can tune in next time for more Quilting Chat with Friends.